Well, hello, and thank you so much for your inquiry about the math notebook for fourth through sixth graders. My name is Audrey Codner, and I am the author of this book. And the one thing that is different from this notebook than any other notebook is not only the stylings that you're taking notes, it's also the additional resources that you get towards the end that will help you throughout the years in order for you to achieve success in mathematics. So once you go past the cover, what's different between this book and the other math notebooks that I have is that the graphing side, which will be on the left, is a lot bigger. And the reason why it's bigger is I also want the students to use this section to help line and align their equations. So now they got their tens in their 10 spot, their ones in the one spot, and also their tenths in their 10th spot when they work more with decimals. So they can actually have enough room to put in the digits in each of the boxes so they can see now how they can add, subtract decimals, how they can add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions, and keep everything in its spot, in its place. Now, on the right-hand side, you will see a Cornell inspired notebook. So this is where they actually put their notes. If there is some formulas that they need to do, they can put it right directly in the formula section. If there are some particular steps that they need to remember in order to solve, those steps should be put into that section. There's also a before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson mood tracker. So students just want to circle up how they're feeling before the lesson is going on, how are they feeling during the lesson, which will help teachers as they're walking around just to take a look to see how are the kids engaging, or basically just so they can keep an idea of like, hey, this was day one of this lesson and it was terrible. But now I'm on day 3 of it, and I can definitely say I got all smiles straight across. The math resources. So we have what's called a factor sheet. And I know a lot of kids nowadays do not know how to read a multiplication chart. It is a struggle. I don't know what it is about the rows and the columns, but it throws them off. But if I could put those factors all in the sheets, so I go from not only from 1 to 100, I go to 1 to 200. So when they're looking at those double and triple digit numbers, now they can come here to take a look at how to break down maybe radicals, how to break down just finding your greatest common factor or your least common multiples. So the yellow is your prime numbers. Your blue is your perfect squares, meaning like say 121. 121 is like 11 times 11. That means 11 squared. And then anything in red is going to be a little more advanced, but I call that the perfect prime combination. So if you have some kids that are in sixth grade that is taking like an advanced pre-algebra class and they're doing some factoring, that is really going to help them out early on. So then additional things, we talk about fractions. We look at fractions at different spans. We go from percent decimals to fraction to decimals to percent to fractions, just really getting those nuances and those notes in there. We're looking at fraction operations, the place values, the decimal operations when they're adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals, what they should keep into mind, estimating and rounding, long division, which they're really going to need this, especially once they get into advanced math, and then conversions, order of operations, exponents, area and perimeter of those shapes definitely is going to be needed, not only in geometry, but also in foundational skills. Then we have our operations, and then writing and solving equations, just working it through step by step and to see how they should do the process and what are those steps involved. Same with the rules of integers. And then at the end, we have what's called brain breaks. As you can tell, we just went through a whole bunch of stuff, and you're probably like, my brain feels like it's about to explode. But guess what? We don't want anything to explode here. So we're giving guys like basically some puzzles, some exercises, maybe even like a couple coloring pages where they can just basically just take a break. The latest one that a lot of kids seem to like is like what's on their playlist. Everyone loves a certain song. So wouldn't it be nice if they can like create their own playlist just to keep their minds active, but at the same time giving them a break with that mathematical components. And if you have a child that loves pixel art, this will be a great page for them as well. They can just draw on the top and they can also doodle or maybe even write some notes real quick on the bottom half. So that is basically all that I have for this lovely notebook. And it's designed from fourth to sixth graders. And I just feel like this is just something that a lot of students really need in order to break things down. So once again, thank you for considering this notebook and just thank you for your time and attention. And if you have any questions, my information is on the very back part of this book. And I will see you or talk to you soon. Have a great one. Thank you.